Oh, man. This is going to be fun. Not really. Welcome in, I guess. Stadium Pulse on a Friday. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. I'm Jason Hamby. We do it every Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. The morning after Georgia loses and gets knocked out of the college football playoff will be no different. As much as I almost at one point last night wish I could pass off this opportunity to someone else. I'm not going to let it happen. Delphonic's probably already in the chat getting after me. Thanks, Delphonic. Appreciate the love. Not even sure what you said, but maybe an emoji. Probably a laughing face emoji. Yep. There it is.
Yep. Delphonic had that one ready.
Yeah, man. He had that one ready. It's all right. It's all right, buddy. At least my quarterbacks played the full game. Look.
Wow, he was nice, and you hit it with that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dephonic. You didn't deserve that. You're such a great person. Georgia loses 23-10, and let's just get right into it, man. To Notre Dame, it sucks way more when it's Notre Dame. I mean, a freaking school that you've bullied every single time you've gotten the chance to play them, going back decades. And it's not been that many times, but every single time, you've almost been the reason that they couldn't rise to the very top, where the ceiling was placed on top of their program, is because they can never get past you and they can never get past other schools in the playoff situation. And now, boom, ceiling's gone. Ceiling's gone for Notre Dame. So much worse than it's the Irish. How many closet Notre Dame fans who just somehow affiliate with the school as their third favorite team and root for them whenever all their other teams get knocked out were putting some crazy stuff on Twitter last night. Look. I said many weeks ago that watching the Ole Miss game that Georgia lost, its second loss in the regular season, I guess that would have been maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago now, was probably the most upset I've been after at a football game with a football team in a couple of years. Jags included, okay? Which was, I know, is a crazy statement. But it was true. I wasn't as frustrated and upset last night, but just about. Just about. Look, you didn't lose. You didn't lose because some walk-on didn't get out of the way on the big Arian Smith catch in the first half, and the referee ran right into him, and you got a 15-yard penalty. Okay? Because guess what? Your red zone offense was terrible all night. Your short yardage was terrible all night. If that ball gets placed at the 11 like it should have, you probably still come away with a field goal. You couldn't execute. Okay, so it's not on that guy. And goodness gracious, ESPN, how many times are you going to show the dude, the kid, from pretty much the hometown, Albany, Georgia, by the way, apparently, which sucks. But he's a walk-on who has nothing to do with the game. You get a 15-yard penalty. Y'all spent 10 times more time on that guy than you did the dude who just wanted to run into the kicker about 50 times in a row. Number 30 for Notre Dame. And he had 3 penalties. That's not why you lost the game. You didn't lose the game because Jalen Walker, your best player, by far your best player, even if Mykel Williams gets drafted ahead of him, Jalen Walker is your best player. You didn't lose because he jumped off sides on a 4th and 1 when Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman subbed all 11 guys off and brought in a whole new 11. That's not why you lost the game. And by the way, the receiver on that play, near side, go watch it again, he flinched at the same time Jalen Walker crossed into the neutral zone. So if you would think that if the referee on the boundary is the one throwing the flag, that maybe the guy that's 3 feet in front of him who flinches first, or at the same time, might have been right in front of you, you might have called it on him. Because guess what? We were all wondering. I was watching it live. I didn't see that live. I saw Jalen Walker cross into the neutral zone, and then I'm wondering, why is Kirby Smart even arguing this? Go watch. Go watch. Near side receiver flinched as well. That's not why you lost the game. So why did you lose the game? And this is the worst part, because it sucks to admit, you got out-Georgia'd. Notre Dame out-Georgia'd Georgia. Georgia's supposed to be the team that always wins in the margins, always wins short yardage, always dominates line of scrimmage, never makes any mistakes on special teams, and you did all of those last night. You did all of them. We couldn't get a fourth down. We stopped them on one, but we didn't stop them on another. Special teams, holy cow. If that guy doesn't run that back, the opening kickoff of the second half, you probably win the game. Here was the most frustrating part. They even did the death march on you, Georgia. You literally pretty much, you coined this. Everybody knows you coined this. When y'all are up 4 points, when y'all are up 7 points, when y'all are up 3 points with 6 minutes left to go in a ball game, and you get the ball and you go on a death march for 14 plays, run after run after run, and the other defense can't stop you, so they can't stop the clock, and you march it all the way down, you kill the clock, and you kill the game. That's what happened to you last night, and I haven't seen that happen to you in I don't know how long. And Notre Dame did it to you. Literally got death marched. And it wasn't Gunner Stockton's fault. I mean, goodness gracious. The kid, give the guy a lot of credit. Guy played his butt off. I think he was, look, if you saw my tweet before the show about 20 minutes ago, my notes are very few and far between. Okay, my notes are that Georgia lost. Okay, notes, Georgia lost. That's pretty much all I've got. So Gunner Stockton, I think he was 20 of 32 with about 230 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. If you tell me that was going to be his line before the game, I'd say we're going to win the game by 10 points, and it'd be pretty comfortable. And you lost. You scored 10, and I get it. The score may be a little bit deceiving because you got it down to the red area seeming like 100 times in the second half, and you had to go for it because field goals did you no good, and you got stuffed on every one of them. So should you had more points? Yes, it would have been a lot closer with field goals, sure, whatever. Yeah. But it wasn't on Gunner. Gunner threw some phenomenal, but Gunner throws freaking seeds. Just slants over the middle. Watch your lips, receivers. Oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta chill on the receivers for a minute. Let me talk about Gunner because I need to talk about something good that happened. Shoot, he's throwing darts all over the field. Some of the fastest throws. Oh, great. I'm gonna get to that later. No, Phonics says he fixed my notes on Twitter, by the way. He's throwing darts all over the field. Some of the fastest slant passes I've ever seen in my life. Then he drops the dime to Arian Smith. Here was the thing coming into the game I told you all about last week on the show. Okay, Gunner Stockton needs to do some of those things, but at the end of the day, what was Notre Dame's defense? What did I spend all the time talking about last week? They're known for their secondary. They are straps in the secondary. And guess what? You found separation. All of you people who want to get on Mike Bobo, offensive coordinator, all game long about what he doesn't do, how he doesn't call the game. Guys, he had receivers against Notre Dame secondary running wide open quite frequently in every single down except for the ones that we knew they were passing very late in the game. First half, we had guys running wide open. Earlier in the third quarter, we had guys running wide open almost every drop back. It wasn't until very late, very, very late, when it was 100% pass that Notre Dame really covered, that we were very limited in the concepts we could do. So everybody who loves to get on Mike Bobo, this wasn't the game to do it. Was Gunner Stockton a little disappointing in the run? Sure. It was also his first start ever. I would have liked to see a little bit more. But again, we talked about the secondary of Notre Dame is what win them games, and that really wasn't the problem. You beat them a lot of times. Where you didn't beat them was the very point or the very aspect of the game where you should have beat them. They don't have a 300-pounder on the defensive line, and their best defensive lineman was out injured, who Marcus Freeman said was the best player on their defense. And guess what you couldn't do? You couldn't run the freaking ball. You're Georgia. And you couldn't run the ball against smaller and a smaller defensive line without their best guy. I'm about ready to get ETN. I mean, see him off. Holy cow. I haven't been this guy. And of course, I do follow quite a few Florida fans. So, they're preying on his downfall at every moment. When he fumbles, there's a million tweets that get sent out in the first half. And it wasn't just a fumble, though. He catches a screen pass. Xavier Truss, 73, goes out and pancakes the guy and literally falls on top of him to finish the play. And Etienne doesn't want to hit a hole. He keeps dancing and trying to juke out imaginary defenders, and then he gets 3 yards when he probably should have had 20. I think he had 13 carries for like 35 yards or something like that, 3.5 per pop. And trust me, I think that he's going to be good in the NFL, much better than what we've seen this year. But what a disappointment. And the injuries were a big part of it. But you can't blame injuries for last night. Not one bit. And how many totes did Nate Frazier get? 4? Oh my gosh, and when you sit, and I hope the people watching know that I'm not to run this guy out of town, because I just told you, I hate it when people try to run Mike Bobo out of town. But look, I'm ready for ETN to go. I'm also ready for freaking Dylan Bell to get out. Those two right there are your biggest 2 disappointments on the entire team this year. Expectations-wise, coming in based off of what they did last year, ETN at Florida and Dylan Bell obviously coming in and presenting himself as what you would have thought would be an incredible option this whole year. Guys, we can't catch the ball. We had 36 drops this year. As a college football team in 14 games now we've played? And I guess, look, I guess for the future, before I get to, what do we have to fix? The cavalry's coming. You got the best receiver class. You have the best receiver class coming in as a freshman class that you've had in probably 5 years. But look, here's the thing with ETN, to wrap on him. Think about the history of Georgia running backs, okay? Non-Georgia fans can rattle them off. It doesn't take a Georgia fan to be able to rattle off how many great Georgia running backs there have been. We are RBU, okay? And guess what has been the story with all of those guys? You came in and this is the exact whole thing with the whole new college football landscape. They came in as freshmen. They barely played. You saw flashes. They took on more of a role as sophomores, and then junior year, they were the starter, and they were your favorite player on the team, and they were incredible. Go down the list. Every single one of the guys that you can name, pretty much the story for all of them. Georgia, never get a transfer running back again. Please. Ever. That's not what you do. If you're running back, the way that you've done this, you get guys that are freshmen, and you build them up year by year, and those are your dudes. It almost just doesn't even seem right that Georgia's top running back could be a transfer. I said it from the moment we signed the guy. He's a great running back. Didn't want him. Is that crazy from a roster acquisition and being a great player standpoint? Sure. But that's not Georgia. We don't go get a transfer running back and hand them the keys to our running back room. I don't care who just left the year before. Because guess who your best running back was this year? A freshman. And Nate Frazier should have got a lot more than 4 carries last night. So I guess if I do have one gripe with Mike Bobo, it's that. And I'm no doctor. I don't know if ETN was fully healthy, but if you're a Georgia fan, the calling card of our team again is the death march, and when we lean on opposing defensive lines, we lean on defenses, and the 4 or 5 yard carries that we had in the first quarter become 7, 8 in the second half, and then we break one for 60 to seal the game. When's the last time you've seen that? Hadn't happened in 2 years against a good team. A 45-yard run to end it. Chubb against UNC. Those type games. Michelle against Oklahoma. Swift against Auburn. I mean, you name them. Dylan Bell, we got to catch the football, man. How many drops did you have last night? Couldn't catch the football. Here, look, let me tell you. Even though ETN played very poorly, in my opinion, even though Dylan Bell played very poorly, in my opinion, here is the biggest reason you lost. The biggest reason you lost was your offensive line. Your offensive line got whooped all game, and it was like the Ole Miss game. It was the same song and dance. Why did you lose against Ole Miss? You got whooped up front. You couldn't do anything offensively. And in the second quarter, I remember watching, I believe it was the second possession of the game. It was one of our better possessions. We had done some weird stuff in the first drive. Nothing worked. Second drive, we come out, we run it, and we get 8 on the first play. And one of our best players, number 69, right guard, Tate Ratledge, does like this. Meaning, keep doing that. Run the football up the middle. We didn't do it any of the first drive. The first drive was like, what is happening? Second drive, we established it, and that's what you could see. That's what he wanted to do. Run the football up the middle. That's what Georgia does. We haven't been as good at it this year, but still, you could see that the players wanted to do that. At least Tate Ratledge did, who's the captain of your offense. You couldn't do it, though, for 4 quarters. Again, against a defensive line with no 300-pounders. So if you want to choose one position group that is the biggest reason of concern, the biggest reason why you lost, it is the offensive line. How does that happen at Georgia? Well, I mean, you can go back a couple of years. Every single year for the last couple of years, we've had at least one guy on the offensive line that's pretty much been a first-rounder. Every year we've had at least one. There ain't one on this team. Now, Tate Ratledge is a good football player. He's no first-rounder, I don't think. Mel Kiper has them as the 5th best guard in the draft. I don't think that's a first-rounder. But we've had guys in the top. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, Marius Mims, Isaiah Wilson, all these guys. Especially at the tackle position. Your tackles were your weakest point. You were playing a freshman out there, Monroe Freeling, who, you know, at times has given you a big step up of Ernest Green, but at one point you put Ernest Green back in there last night because Monroe was getting whipped. It's just, why is that the case? Well, we don't have a 5-star on the offensive line or at the tackle position. Guys will tell you that Matt Luke, when he was the offensive line coach a couple of years, probably took a year off of recruiting. Well, there you go. And is that me complaining that Georgia doesn't have enough talent? Look, guys, I mean, talent is spread across college football more now than it ever has been before. It's not like, yes. It's not. I mean, I guess it's not me complaining because we those guys are fully capable. But if you want a reason, we don't have the 5 stars and the guys or the upper 4 stars even on the line that we've had in years past. And I guess we got to do a better job of developing them. It's not. I wouldn't blame the current offensive line coach. No, he just got there. So the offensive line is the biggest part. That's the biggest room of improvement for next year, in my opinion. Can we win with Gunner Stockton going forward into the future in 2025? I think he showed you last night that he could. Again, Notre Dame probably consensus has a top 5, at least top 10 defense in the country, and he moved the ball. against one of the best. I would put Notre Dame's secondary in the top 3 along with Michigan and Ohio State. And he was completing deep balls. He completed probably 65% of his passes. And a lot of those incompletions where he was flushed out of the pocket because we got whipped on the left side and he's throwing the ball out of bounds. I mean, he was real good, except for the rushing 10 rushes I think he had. A lot of those were sacks for negative yardage.
Yeah, 10 for negative 23.
Okay, so you know, first game as a starter. Look, if you can get that guy rolling in the run game, which I don't think we really saw. I don't know if I saw him keep it on a designed keep more than one time last night, which is shocking. Probably would have helped you run the football more if you would have shown that earlier in the game. Maybe that is another gripe from Mike Bobo. But again, Mike Bobo, I thought, called a pretty good game. Kirby shouldn't lose a game like that. Not to Marcus Freeman, not to a Riley Leonard. No. When Georgia's lost football games, it's been to unbelievably special players, right? It's not been to sides of the ball, to a defense, to an offense. When we've lost, it's been to special players, right? That's why we've lost to Milroe how many times? Because as bad as he can also be the best player on the field. And when we have lost, it's been to teams that spread it out. Outside zone run schemes, chuck the ball deep, passing games, explosive offense. That's not Notre Dame. How many passing yards did Riley Leonard have last night, Nick?
90.
90. And you lost.
15 and 24 for 90 and 1 touchdown.
That's the most frustrating part, because at the same time, as I told you at the very beginning of the show, that that Georgia got out Georgia, that Notre Dame played Georgia's script and executed it better. For most of the game, set aside 2 plays, we played better. And take the first 3 quarters. Take the first 3 quarters. We moved the ball way more efficiently and way easier than they did. They couldn't move the ball for nothing until the final drive. Guy had 90 yards passing, and you lost.
Had 80 yards rushing, too. Leading passer and a runner on their team.
For whatever reason, we've never been the quarterback run. I mean, yeah, Jeremiah Love might be the top back picked in the next year's draft. How many yards did he have?
19.
Okay. Maybe a little bit banged up, but still. How many carries?
6.
Well, I guess. He was having a lot more success. He'd probably been in there more, I'll say that. It's unreal, man. Our season's over. Look, the expectation for Georgia fans should continue to be national championships. Okay? And I get it. And maybe this is a lesson for all fans of teams that are going to be perennial contenders, where it's going to be much more like the MLB playoffs, where it's, that at the end of the day, you can't predict at all the playoffs. Like, the Dodgers, as much as good as they were last year in winning the World Series, they had no reason to fully expect that they would win it. It's you do as best as you can. You assemble the best team as possible. You try to get hot at the right time, and you hope you get hot right before the playoffs or into the playoffs, and then it's all right, well, we'll see. It's hard if you're a baseball team of the Dodgers to have an expectation that you're going to win a World Series year in and year out. In the past, we've been able to say that and have that expectation in college football, right? Because we've known pretty much, you could say before season starts, that 6 teams are capable of winning a national championship. And this take isn't about the expanded playoff as it is about expanded NIL money. The playing field has been leveled. Teams are to a certain extent. Georgia is not, and Alabama is not, and even Ohio State in years to come, and teams like that are not going to have that much more of a talent disparity than the 10 to 20 teams in college football, the 10th ranked through 20, or even like the 6, 7, 8. That's what we've seen in years past, when it wasn't really about the money. So it was about which coaches are going to develop you the most, which teams have the best culture, which teams already have the best chance of winning, which coaches can get you into the NFL draft and make you money. Yeah, there's still that disparity, but man, money sure does even that out. I think I've gone long enough on Georgia. Nick, did I miss anything? I mean,
hold on, you missed one thing. The update to your notes. I've had this ready for the last 10 minutes.
Unbelievable.
I'm kidding. Otherwise, no, you didn't miss anything. I didn't watch any of the game last night.
Stay hot.
Stay hot. Stay on this.
Thank you, Delphonic.
I had to get it in. It's just funny. Poking fun there. But, no, I didn't watch much or any of the game, really. I think I was split between dinner and, because I was eating Mexican food, watching it in the window, the reflection of the game. I was kind of looking around to see what the score was. I was surprised that they ran it back after halftime, which I didn't expect. I expected a better game from Georgia. Nothing else to tell you. I expected Stockton to have a better stat line. I mean, he is the MVP of the game.
He played good.
I mean, he was better than Leonard. 20 of 32 for 234 and a touchdown. I mean, really 221 or 201, 211, I think. Math hard. 234 minus 23 makes 211.
Yeah.
He is the total yardage leader. I mean, he's the MVP of the game. He's like Scatabo winning it in the game against Texas. Because he was the MVP of that game. And I think Georgia's going to be fine next year with Stockton at quarterback. But yeah, you're right. Receivers, I think even for Tennessee, it's a problematic spot. Just receivers weren't good this year, I think, for either team.
Yeah. Go get a transfer. Hey, I know I ripped you for taking a transfer running back because that's not who you are. Go get as many transfer receivers as possible because I about crashed out when Dylan Bell dropped that football. Holy cow. My poor mom was sitting a few feet away from me, and I about said more than one choice word. That was unbelievable, running wide open.
I strongly disagree with that, Nate.
Ole Miss and Alabama would have been a better rep for
Ole
SEC
Miss,
with
maybe.
Beck hurt. Look.
Bama, no.
No.
A deplorable Michigan team beat Alabama.
With 10 starters out on the defense.
And no offense. Absolute no offense. And Bama killed their quarterback, I guess, in the third quarter. Still lost. No. I think Texas and Georgia were the best two. Tennessee was the third best, and we saw how that worked out. Now, about that, I mean, Ohio State may just be on, as you said, for Georgia late in the game. They're on a death march through this college football playoff at the moment. They are taking no names. I mean, they are just marching through people. I didn't expect them to jump out. I think it was 24, 28, nothing on Oregon. Kind of nuts.
Look, let's stay here before we take a break. Look, if there's any team that watched Tuesday and Wednesday's game, well, Thursday I guess is, but the semifinal and was most encouraged, other than Ohio State, it's freaking Tennessee fans. Because you're like, holy cow! I mean, look, I guess our team deserves a lot more credit for the way we played Ohio State. If they're going to play like that against Oregon, I mean, how did you feel? I mean, if I'm you, I'm like, I don't feel that bad about us losing to them now.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I saw them jump out, I figured a closer game in Oregon to probably win it again. But, I mean, Ohio State's been on one, man. They have been on one between the Tennessee game and the Oregon game. I know they wanted vengeance for the Oregon game. I know Tennessee fans probably chirped a little too much on Twitter. They take pride in being Vol Twitter and whatnot. I'm part of it or was part of it. I mean, they take pride in it, but they talked a little too much. And I think they gave probably both Oregon and Tennessee gave Ohio State enough bulletin board material to last through the next season and beyond, maybe. I mean, there was surely enough on like TikTok and Insta or Facebook that I saw from fans just in comments on posts chirping. And I was like, y'all, don't do this. But no, I mean, walking away from it, I'm more dejected from what's happened since the game rather than the game itself, given the outcome of the Oregon game. We've lost a lot to the portal. I think we're down to like 2 scholarship receivers. I mean, we're looking thin on Rocky Top. Might have to dust out Rocky Flop for next year.
Oh, boy.
But hopefully that's not the case. And it like you said, like you have to kind of raid the portal because, I mean, even at this point in the recruiting cycle, most of the guys are gone. I mean, I'm looking at the transfer portal, and I think the last I read is that Tennessee's making a push for Zachariah Branch.
Hey, Georgia, hey. That's interesting. That might be what it comes down to. It might be Georgia versus Tennessee for Zach Branch. By the way, that's USC's top receiver, unbelievable football player. It's going to be whoever pays the most. Georgia, please. If I have to go Venmo you $10, if that'll help contribute, then I will, because I am so sick of what I watch receivers at receiver this year. And again, Calvary's coming, best class at receiver you've had in a long time. But we need instant production. London Humphreys is not going to do it. You got anything on Zach Branch? Any updates on him?
Well,
obviously Georgia probably hadn't been much in the mix.
Sports Illustrated, I guess the most recent from yesterday is that he's visiting Miami with his brother Zion. But really, the other one is there's 4 teams in the mix. Tennessee is reportedly in that mix. See if it tells me who those teams are.
I would assume it doesn't say Georgia because we've kind of been a little bit busy.
Well, hold on. If I could just read Georgia somewhere. I don't know. I can't get a definite read on who's in the mix for him, but I'd assume Georgia might be one of them.
He might be worth $2 million a year, based off of what we just watched.
Texas in the mix, while Arizona State and Georgia are also contenders.
I don't know how, dude. Texas has an unlimited NIL bag.
Texas old money.
Goodness gracious,
Texas old money.
Them and A&M. Well, A&M just goes to fund the coach payouts.
They just pull up at Colt money. They ain't got old money. They got Colt money.
That's a great point. Cutter Cannon in the chat. Cash Jones has the best hands or the surest hands on our team right now. That is sad. That's your 4th string white running back who had the sole touchdown yesterday, and it's true. And even go back and watch that play. He almost dropped that ball. He almost dropped that football. By the way, he's the one who missed the tackle on the special teams kickoff return for a touchdown. So, I mean, I want to give him props for catching that tud, but that was a poor attempt of a tackle on the kickoff. But the point remains: tourist hands on the team probably belongs to him, and maybe your tight ends. I didn't see your. By the way, I didn't. Jurasic, I didn't see play at all yesterday. 84-year tight end who had kind of become more of a threat down the stretch. I didn't even really see him in there. Tight ends have been great, Delp and Lucky, but anyways, that's enough on Georgia. I got to move on, or else I won't stop talking about it. Hey, let's take a break so we can reset. When we come back, hey, Ole Miss absolutely dominates Duke last night. I was shooting that game. I'll tell you about kind of some stuff I saw. We're going to get into quarterbacks that are already declared for the NFL draft, or guys like Drew Aller maybe, for Penn State, who necessarily hasn't declared but probably will. Which guys have improved their stock going into the NFL Combine and all that stuff, and which guys has the stock fallen based off of bowl games and college football playoff games. Does Texas have a shot to beat Ohio State? We'll get into that. Penn State, Notre Dame, who knows? We'll talk that and a lot more. Maybe we'll get to some Lane Kiffin comments as well. We always know that those can be interesting. I got everything I can out about Georgia. Is it a wash season? I don't know. It's never a wash season. You dealt with a lot, played a really hard schedule. You came out, you played a lot of good football. Your quarterback goes out. Look, should have been a natty run, but it wasn't. Again, let's go to break. I'm never going to shut up. We'll see you back in 5 here on Stadium Pulse.
When it comes to trucks, I know exactly what I want. And at Bozard Ford, they make it easy to get exactly that. Let's go make this truck a little more my style. With Bozard Built, I can create my perfect truck right here. Lift kit? Check. Premium wheels? You bet. Advanced lighting package? Oh yeah. The Bozard team works their magic. From bumper to tailgate, I'm making this truck mine. It's everything that I wanted and more. From the field to the gym to weekend adventures. This truck's built for my journey. Bozard built. Customized for your lifestyle, built to exceed your expectations. Check out the inventory and available options at bozardbuilt.com. Unleash your dream ride. Customized, covered, and Bozard approved.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade. If you need a quality play this football season at your home, call That One Painter First Coast. Locally owned and operated, experienced employees, no builder grade materials. And there's more, and for that we throw it to Noah Schlicksup. That One Painter First Coast can apparently help your kicking game too.
Well, after my failure on skinny sticks last year on Creekside game day, I've spent a lot of time out here at Creekside practicing my kicks. There's only one issue. How is that even possible? The good news is I know exactly who can help. That One Painter can handle all your painting needs, from field goal posts to cabinets to stucco. They got you covered. Though they may not be able to help with my kicking, they can certainly help with the posts. Call That One Painter First Coast today for all your painting needs at 904-495-1373.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back in. Stadium Pulse on a Friday, 9 to 10 a.m. Talking college football for an hour. Appreciate everybody hopping into the chat, listening to me as I bear my grievances over Georgia losing. I'm going to try not to mention them much more after what I just said for the rest of the show. It'll be my goal of mine. Tax Flair Gator Bowl last night. I will tell you what my day looked like yesterday. I obviously did the show yesterday morning. Britton Austin show 10 to 1, Monday through Friday. Did also Fleet and Footy with Stuart Weber, Armada show from 2 to 3. Then I booked it over, and I was like, all right, because the games got switched over, right? Georgia gets moved to 4 because of what happened in New Orleans, and Taxslayer Gator Bowl gets pushed back. I'm like, okay, well, I can actually watch the Georgia game because initially Georgia Notre Dame was scheduled for 8:45 at night, and I'm thinking, oh, this is phenomenal. I'm not going to be able to watch really anything because I will be shooting the Ole Miss game and Duke game. But it gets moved, so I get to watch it at least the first half there at the crib, and then come back to the station, get my gear, head down to Everbank, obviously watching it the whole time. I may or may not have, maybe should have leave this part out, but it took me like 10 minutes my parking pass for the Gator Bowl was giving me some trouble. I was getting it pulled up in my Apple Wallet and Ticketmaster and everything like that, and I'm trying to get to my lot. Directions, and Georgia, we're in the end of the third quarter, so real crunch time here, or actually the start of the fourth quarter, and so I might have just had to pull over in front of the Shrimp Stadium for like a couple of minutes to finish a drive or whatever. So I'm pretty much furious about that, and by the time I got into the stadium, I'd been continuing to watch it on my walk up, and at that point the game was lost. That was when the death march was happening for Notre Dame. And then for a few minutes, I was like, bro, I don't even know if I want to watch any more football now because Georgia's done. But nonetheless, I'm going to be, right there for it, in the thick of it for another couple hours. And it was kind of needed, I would say, to go out there and be that close and be able to watch some good football. Jackson Dart, I appreciate you for taking my mind off of Georgia for a couple hours. You played phenomenal. Dart, I think it was 52-20 last night. A lot of garbage time points for both teams in that one. Dart actually played the entire game up until the last 3 plays. They finally put, I believe it's Simmons in, the left-hander, who came in against Georgia and threw a touchdown when Dart had to come out. That's neither here nor there a couple of weeks ago. But Dart finished with over 400 yards passing. At one point, Nick, he makes a throw where he's flushed out of the pocket, goes all the way to his left, just heaves it off of his back leg, going left. 55, I believe, yards down the field, and his receiver catches it on the 2-yard line with 1 foot in bounds. Right, it was one of the better throws that I've ever seen live. And I'm here to tell you that Jackson Dart is going to be a NFL Combine darling. Okay, we know that these guys exist. Guys that seem incredibly. Sometimes they're up and down throughout a season. You see the talent. You see at least the arm talent throughout the year. They make all the throws. They also do some stupid stuff throughout a season. And so they're like, I don't know where to fit them within the QB class. Look, Jackson, and then they go to the Combine, and they're like, they're the hype. That doesn't necessarily, I mean, sometimes if you got a guy like Zach Wilson, they go from who knows what he should have been because of the Combine, because of his pro day, because of the one throw where he rolls left, throws right, a 50-yard bomb. At his pro day, it seems like he rises to the hills, and he gets taken second overall. I'm not telling you Jackson Dart's going to be taken second overall. I am telling you that he's going to be a guy whose stock rises up all the way until draft night. Or maybe not night one, because I don't think he's a first rounder. But I think you're kicking yourself if you think that an NFL team doesn't watch a guy play like that and think that they can make a star out of that guy. What throw can he not make? Again, and he's better. He's one of the better runners in the class. One of the better runners in the class. If you want to give me a comp as far as scramble, as far as extending plays, I might take Jackson Dart. Hold on, let me think through these classes before I stick my foot in my mouth, because I almost said I'm taking him over. He might be the best one.
He's kind of the forgotten one to me, because when I think of this quarterback class, I think it's utterly awful. I don't think Shadur is going to be good. I don't think Ward's going to be good.
What's his name?
Whose name?
Sanders' first name?
Shador.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Shador's going to be any good. Whoever takes him is going to have a bust in a heartbeat. Cam Ward, I think, is too lackadaisical, or you just going to call it flat out lazy. One way or the other. Good, but lazy, I think. Beck is an interesting one. I think a year could have helped him.
Yeah.
I think this year hurt his draft stock, so he'll slide. But he could be. I think he's a day 2 guy. He could be a second, third, or fourth round darling that somebody picks and is like super good with a good line, and he stays healthy and whatnot.
Yeah.
But Dart's kind of he feels forgotten to me because when I think of quarterbacks in this class, I never think of Dart. But he's been consistently good. And you could argue he is Eli Manning-esque in the stats of like most yards, most wins, second in touchdowns or something. So he's like up in that upper echelon of Ole Miss quarterbacks as like the guy. And Kiffin can produce them. Whatever happened with Matt Corral is a Matt Corral specific issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think ultimately, Dart is overlooked, but will probably be one of the better quarterbacks in the end when this class pans out.
Yeah, look, if you think about the class, right, which quarterback is better at down the field throws with the combination of extending plays and scrambling better than Dart? Is Cam Ward better at that? Cam Ward may be better at some other things, but Cam Ward's not better at, well, he's great at extending plays, but scramble, I think I would take Dart. Scramble, and because Cam Ward's probably the best guy, consensus, what people would tell you is the best scrambler and extending plays, down, keeping eyes downfield, making a throw kind of guy. Dart's right there with him, I think. Shadur's not as good at that. Shadur's better in other areas. He's not better than Dart at that. Look, if we think about, all right, let's go through them, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
For the class, which guys in the bowl games and the playoff games, what has each guy done, okay? What did Shadur do against BYU? Did his draft stock do anything? And look, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to exaggerate this because we fully understand that NFL GMs are looking at a lot more tape than just the bowl game against BYU, or just a half of football against Iowa State for Cam Ward, or just a game against Duke, right? They're obviously looking at the whole tape. This is going to play a small part. But if, hypothetically, it played a bigger part, what did these quarterbacks do? Shador probably is down a little bit for how he played against BYU, and a lot of people would probably say, yeah, that was more about everybody else on the team, but you're the quarterback.
Has Milroe declared, or is he returning?
I don't think I've seen.
I haven't seen either, so I don't know. Let's exclude Milroe for right now since we don't know.
Well, if he's in there, his is bad.
Yeah,
based off of how he played against Michigan.
Off the entire season.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the Vandy game, the Michigan game was terrible, but they'll give him a pass on that because of weather being halfway the problem. Dart at Leonard's iffy. He never had a big game. He just seems like an okay quarterback that can get you by. All of these, I think if Beck gets back to 2023 Beck, he's a first rounder, and I wouldn't be too worried about him. 2024 Beck is a bit more concerning. Curtis Rourke, he come on one big season. Gabriel's consistent, but lefties don't do too well in the NFL. Penix, we'll see. The last real good lefty quarterback was Vic, I think, that was consistently good for a long time. But lefties seem to just not pan out super well because it changes so much in the play of the game.
Look.
Dart, honest to God, man. Dart, of the guys I'm looking at right now, I feel like the most surefire quarterback in this class.
Oh, no, Nick.
Like Shador, when he goes out.
I didn't need you to do all that.
No, look, when Dion can't protect Shador, how is it going to work when he's in New York or wherever he winds up at? Cam Ward, I think, is lazy. We're excluding Milroe. We'll exclude Ewers for now. Beck, I think, will be good in the long term. I just want to see him where he goes and what situation he winds up in. Gabriel, lefties don't convert to the NFL. Leonard's nothing. McCord might be. Honest, of this class, looking at it, I think the most surefire pick would be Jackson Dart.
Yeah, okay.
The plug-and-play arm talent and just being all of the intangibles, I think that would be this guy.
Look, I hate
Ole Miss, and I don't think Jackson Dart's that good. I think they patched at it the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah. I can't go all the way with you that far. I also don't claim to be a quarterback guru because at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what will play at the next level and what won't. Because we know some stuff won't. I told you earlier in the year that a lot of the stuff that Cam Ward does that makes him so good probably won't play at the NFL level.
Yeah, I think, to me, if I'm comparing Cam Ward to anyone right now, it's Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, no.
I think that's what his play style for this year in Miami.
Oh, no.
He just steps back into the pocket and he's like, he's there. This is what Jamarcus Russell felt like.
Nick,
I
get
it.
Nick, you
I'm
just
here.
compared him to the biggest bust in NFL history.
But that's what he could be. All I'm saying is his play style, to me, just seemed lazy.
It did. It did at times.
And what was
lackadaisical.
Jamarcus Russell? Lazy.
Look, I can't tell you that I watched a ton of Jamarcus Russell. I don't even.
I mean,
know
I didn't either, but I've watched stuff since then,
but
like the 40, or the 30 for 30, and whatever on like the biggest bust.
I mean,
He was lazy.
I like the take. I'm just telling you that Miami fans, if I tweet that out, they might come for you. That's probably a good thing that you don't have a Twitter. Okay, because he just said Cam Ward might be the biggest bust and is most comparable to Jamarcus Russell.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Is Dylan Gabriel going to be good in the NFL? Look, everybody, we were watching the game. Can he beat the allegations? Obviously, that means the fraud allegations. No,
guy in my corner. Thanks, Cutter.
He does. Look, obviously, his stock didn't improve one way or the other because he played well. Maybe it took a hit because he didn't play, right? Because of that stuff, not playing in the second half. We don't have enough time to get into all of that. In my perfectly honest opinion, I guess some GMs are going to care about that, some aren't. If I had to tell you the truth, that he didn't play in the second half in the Pop-Tart Bowl, which was, holy cow, what a scene. Great game, by the way. Dylan Gabriel didn't do anything to help himself. Holy cow. I mean, if he didn't play at all, he got exposed. I mean, look, and it wasn't just about him. It was the entire team. It wasn't even just the offense. And they had zero momentum for all of that football game. Tez Johnson, the receivers all year, all those guys have been running wide open all of the time at will, especially over the middle, the deep ends, the deep posts. Those have been there for Oregon all year. I don't think they hit one of those all game against Ohio State. Again, Ohio State came out with a great scheme. Give Ryan Day, give their defense a lot of credit. They played 3 safeties against Oregon and made them just got after them with pass rush and left the sides open, and they had to check the football down. And then they rallied and made tackles. When Ohio State plays like that, again, nobody's going to beat them. Drew Aller. So my 2 biggest guys that have raised their stock the most are Drew Aller and Jackson Dart.
100%.
And Jackson Dart more so is about, and again, my thinking is he's going to be one of those combine darling guys and pro day darlings. Kashawn Mays in the chat says Jalen Milroe declared. Okay, so I might have missed that, but I guess that must have happened in the last couple of days. Look, his is, I don't know, I have no idea where Jalen Milroe was going to be drafted. I will tell you this, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I would probably take Jalen Milroe in the second round if he's there.
Yeah, I feel like that fits Miami's scheme,
right? Because look, here's what we're going to see from yesterday. And this is an NFL take much more than a college football take, so I'll try to get off of it as soon as I can. But we should see NFL teams prioritize the backup quarterback more and more and more in the future. We've been talking about this on the Brenton Austin Show for a year. How rare it is for a starting quarterback to play 17 full NFL games in a season and into the playoffs. Every quarterback at one point or another pretty much misses time. If you do it one year, you probably don't do it the next. Okay? Look, you're going to miss time at some point, and it doesn't make sense for all, because look, take any NFL team. If your starting quarterback gets hurt, you're done. If you're a team in playoff contention and you're a billion-dollar team, it doesn't make any sense for you to be one player away from being a total disaster, from going to playoff and Super Bowl contender to first round exit or maybe not even making the playoffs, right? If the Bills, I'm telling you, should have a quarterback behind Josh Allen that they don't just consider, oh, he can manage the game and we'll just hope that everybody else plays an A+ game and we'll maybe sneak out with a win. Nobody believes you got to have a backup that you can believe that you can still make a run. In my opinion, if we're going to have these rosters that are hundreds of millions of dollars, and the starting quarterback is going to get $50 million a year, maybe we should pay the backup more than $2 million a year, because if our starter goes out, we're screwed. Let's not do that anymore. If we're an actual contender, let's go get a backup. I don't care if I have to pay him $10, $15 million a year to sit on his butt. Then that is a $10 to $15 million or a high draft pick that I would be happy to concede it, because it meant my starter played all 17 games and into the playoffs. Especially if you're the Dolphins and Tua is always one hit away from being out, period. Go get a actual backup. It was pathetic that they literally couldn't get a guy that could even give the ball to Tyreek Hill and to Jalen Waddle when Tua was out. Go get Jalen Milroe, who is the most explosive player on the field at times, despite what you've seen at times against Michigan, against Oklahoma. But he is the most dynamic football player on the field when he's comfortable. Okay, go get him in there to run. Go get him in there to dump the ball off to Tyreek Hill, to throw drag routes to Jalen Waddle. And he's got a good deep ball. The intermediate 15 to 25 yards is where he's really struggled, right? And keeping his eyes downfield, not holding on to the ball. Get his ball. Like, we should start seeing more of that. In my opinion, holy cow, 9:56. That's all the time we got for today. It's Ohio State's to lose. It's 100% Ohio State's to lose. Notre Dame, Penn State, to me, I'm not taking James Franklin against a team that I believe he's evenly matched against. So give me Notre Dame in that one next week. And Texas still has not proven to me that they're actually a great football team. I don't care if they're in the semifinal. Arizona took them to the brink with one guy, Cam Scadaboo, who deserves a ton of credit for how he played and the heart that he showed. But there's no reason that Texas should have allowed them to stay in that ball game, and that shows to me and should show to you that they're not capable of beating Ohio State if Ohio State plays a B game. Because Texas could get run out of there as well, and they have a better defense than Oregon does. So I don't expect anything like we saw last Wednesday, but I don't expect Texas to win that one either. So it looks like we're going to have an Ohio State Notre Dame college football championship, which is jail for everybody. So I apologize that we're all going to have to watch that, but we're going to have to watch it with smiling faces because this is what we wanted. That's going to do it for Stadium Pulse. 9 to 10 every Friday. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for hopping in the chat. We will see you next time. Britton Austin Show coming up in just a few minutes.